Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz pianist Lara Driscoll. She talked about her latest CD, Woven Dreams, and her life in music. She also opened up about this new COVID-19 jazz world that we live in, why she loves jazz, and so much more. So please get to know her and dig this interview, my friends.
Lara, it's Joe Domino with Neon Jazz.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, exactly where are you located on the planet right now?
Just outside of Chicago in Skokie.
Okay. So how's everything going there?
It's going just fine. We're transitioning to, teaching all our courses online and just trying to make the most of the situation. It's a real unifying moment for sure for humanity.
Without a doubt. Well, and that's one of the reasons why I've been trying to do more of the interviews with musicians to kind of have an oasis for a minute away from all of the reality of our environments right now. So thanks for taking a minute of that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start off with here and talk about where you were born and raised and kind of just how jazz started for you.
So I was born in Chicago and raised in Prospect Heights, which is just outside of Chicago. And I started playing music because my mom thought music should be something that we should have access to. She always wanted to study music in some capacity and didn't have the opportunity growing up, so she really made it a priority for us. And so I started taking piano, regular piano lessons with a neighborhood teacher, and eventually switched to a really great classical teacher named Cheryl Lim. And also joined the school band, so I played clarinet and sang in the middle school choir. And we had a really great public music opportunities at our school, which was really valuable. And that's how I got introduced to jazz. So my family doesn't play music or really have much connection with jazz specifically, but there was a really great jazz band at the middle school and high school, and those groups really opened a lot of doors for me growing up.
What was the first live jazz show you ever saw?
I don't remember the first live jazz show in terms of a professional concert. I mean, I remember going to a lot of concerts growing up because we had access to things like Ravinia and the Jazz Showcase and other live music opportunities in Chicago, as well as seeing a lot of performances at festivals. So the high school jazz band was attending quite a few festivals for high school students, but then there would be professional musicians performing in the evening concerts, which was really inspiring. And of course, also I attended the Aberswald camp, which I think was one of the biggest influences on me in terms of seeing a lot of live music and being immersed, because there were live concerts every night and there were always lots of different musicians, some of which were local musicians, some were New York-based musicians, some were just educators that were coming from all over the country. But I do remember the first time I heard live jazz, if I really think about it, was the middle school jazz band, which may sound silly, but I really enjoyed hearing them play when I was in middle school, and it inspired me to want to play piano in a setting that wasn't necessarily by myself or classically focused, just to see what that would be like.
Talk to me a little bit about mentors. Who really had a huge influence on the way that you not only play, but the way you live your life?
Yeah, oh my gosh, so many. It's actually one of the things I was thinking about a lot when I was trying to decide what to put in my album liner notes and thank yous. And I realized, mentors in my life have been extremely significant. And in terms of musical mentors, there's a couple that are particularly significant, one of which is the classical piano teacher that I mentioned, Cheryl Lim, who had just such a wonderful focus on musicianship, on tone quality, on playing expressively that really, really impacted me. And then another is Brian Jacoby, who is a wonderful jazz trombone player and music educator in Chicago. And his sons just happened to go to high school with me at Hersey High School, and he would invite us over to his house for jam sessions, and he took us to the Aebersold camps. He shared a lot of records and books, and just was really wonderful to me during that period, especially because I didn't have really a jazz piano teacher per se. And then, of course, there's my high school band director, Scott Casagrande, who was a really, really influential figure for me when I was in high school. And then in college, all of my professors, and specifically Chip Stevens, my jazz piano professor at U of I, was a big mentor for me. I don't know how I would possibly be doing this music without mentors. Or really, I mean, I think that could be said about many professions and many skills. Like it's such an amazing relationship to have someone who's, looking out for you and cares about your success and is there to talk to you and just really is an encouraging figure.
I want to talk a little bit about Woven Dreams. You got a CD coming out. It has to be bittersweet. You have a CD coming out during a time where people can really listen to music during this quarantine, but you can't tour to back it up. Talk to me a little bit about how you feel about this new release.
Woven Dreams is a culmination of many years of work, and I'm really proud of it. And it took a long time for me to feel like it was the right time to release it. It was recorded when I was a student in Montreal doing graduate school, and it's bittersweet, as you said, to release it at this time, but I do feel lucky that I did get to do a few concerts right before this all happened and got a little taste of what it was like to have a CD release. And that was really special. I mean, one of the concerts was in Bloomington, Illinois, which is where my older brother lives, and I've visited many times, and I've played there before, but not with my own group. And we had a really wonderful release show, packed the club, and I feel really lucky that I got to do at least some of what I had worked so hard to prepare. And it's too bad that we didn't get to do the tour, but the album is doing well. It's getting great reviews and getting played on the radio. So I feel really good about doing it. And more importantly, I think it's important to, even if we can't play live music right now in terms of in clubs and concert halls, I think it's still really important to be putting out art and music and just expressing, the human condition through music and art, because that's going to help us get through this period.
Why do you love music?
Music is a way to connect with people in a nonverbal way. I think it's just a really powerful vehicle for human expression. And whether you're making the music or you're receiving the music or you're, singing in the shower, I think music is one of the great art forms that helps people relate and understand each other and enjoy life. I think we're so focused on productivity and sort of a capitalist mentality to life, and it's important to recognize that enjoying life is probably the best thing that we can do. And and if we're not taking the time to be present and taking the time to express emotion, then what are we doing?
We will get to the point where we get to the end of this COVID-19 and we get back into the clubs and the venues. And what do you hope both musician and audience realizes from this time away?
I've been doing a lot of reflecting during this period about being in the present moment, and I've been doing a lot of work in the area of taking care of mental health, taking care of physical health, and just trying to connect on a more spiritual level with myself and with my thoughts, and trying to kind of center everything. And I hope that people in general, I mean, it appears to me that they are, but I hope that people are trying to use this as a wake-up call to do more of that and to do more reflecting in general about what really matters in life. And I think when we do that, we're going to be much more peaceful and more generous and caring as a society. And along with that is going to come a greater respect for the vulnerable, greater respect for the people that need, love and need to be treated with kindness, and the people that are suffering. So I hope that, music is going to be a way to do more of that. And just, I see it as a vehicle for human connection. So if we can all be more reflective now when we have this unifying moment where everybody has to face this huge problem, I think that's going to come out in our art as well.
My final question is, everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, and your fans, but you're living your life. Who do you think you are?
That's a great question. I think my role is just as significant or insignificant as everyone else's role in this world. I mean, we are here to share in our experience and to be present in the moment and listen and contribute and be ourselves and share what we only can offer. And so I don't try to necessarily define myself in a certain way, but rather try to just be as connected with others and with a loving perspective on the world as I can. And I think, I try to be an advocate for people who may not have a voice. I feel very generally privileged in my life experience in terms of having access to education, in terms of having a supportive family, in terms of being given this great opportunity to pursue my passion in life, to get to play music for a living and to teach music. So I really try to appreciate that and try to use it as a way to make the world a better place. And I hope that in the meantime, I can help uplift and make other people happy.
Beautiful. That's a great answer. Great way to wrap everything up. Hey, thank you for taking some time out for Neon Jazz today.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to yet another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in France, Chicago, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Laura for her time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.